agents. I'm Bridget Brooks, your friendly ads boss, and this is Real Estate Lead Force. I am so excited to have you guys join me today. We have an incredible agent from Arizona, Wendy Ortiz. We're so happy to have you join us, but you know how this goes. First and foremost, we're putting you in the rapid fire seat. So our first question is, what is your secret weapon for converting cold leads into hot prospects?
I think that's a really great question, especially now more than ever, because that's where the consumer is looking and these are cold leads. So I would say consistency for sure. I try to create some connection with them at minimum, because I know that if they're a cold lead to me, they're a cold lead to probably 20 others, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in a crowded market with agents, flooded with agents, what unique methods do you use to stand out?
Well, we're all unique. We're snowflakes. So I will go to the grave by saying, by being me is the best I can do. And just hopefully that my reputation, online people are Googling me. And I really think that's a superpower. I think that's the secret sauce right now more than ever. Maybe it always has been, but that's my channel of the most success.
I love it. I love it. And can you reveal a lead generation tactic that flopped and how you bounced back?
Oh, great one. Thank you. I would tell you, this is a little bit of a loaded one. I was with one of the top teams at Coldwell Banker in Arizona, some of the greatest people that I've ever worked with. And I had every resource at my fingertips from some Tom Ferry coaching. So I was doing everything. I was beating my brains in. And I think if I'm following your question properly is don't do too much. Just pick three things that really, really work. Door knocking. I was beating down doors. I was walking neighborhoods in the heat. And it can work for some people, but I was doing too much. So pick three things that really, really your heart and soul speaks to, not that you have to do.
Love it. I love it. So, Wendy, you made it through the rapid fire. Congratulations. We're going to dive deep more into that. But first, tell us a little bit about your real estate experience, how you came to real estate, what you're doing now in real estate, and really what sets you apart from your competition.
So thank you for asking that too, because today I just posted in a magazine that I am in. I'm kind of excited about it. But in 2009, I was losing my home. I had a marketing business. So we did things that were everything in volume that were logoed for companies, shirts, hats, mugs, great thriving business, raising my three children out of my house, doing well. And one day I was like, the phone's not ringing. This is really weird. And it was summer. And I was like, I wasn't watching the news. I wasn't paying attention. And I wasn't in real estate. So I didn't know what to listen for. And it seemed like overnight my business halted. And I wound up very quickly getting a foreclosure notice on my home. I make the income in my home. My husband has a government job with the benefits and whatnot. And I was like, oh, excuse me, a what? What? And things came quickly, fast, and real. So everybody had said I should be a real estate agent for years. I was like, I know, but I wasn't in the right spot to do that. So I was like, I'm going to real estate school. If I have to work 60 hours a week in both jobs, it's what I'm going to do to save this house. So I went to real estate school, and I mentioned it today as people were like, are you crazy? This isn't the short sale heyday. And I said, I don't feel crazy. And I went to school and I just knew I sat open house every day as much as I could. And I said, I'm getting myself a client. I am getting client if it kills me. And I did within like the first 60 days, 17,000, saved my home. And best thing I ever did. So
what a great story. Like, I don't know, it gives me like goosebumps, right? And if that doesn't encourage and motivate like the young and the new real estate agents out there, I don't know what does, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about in our first question, what's your secret weapon for converting cold leads to hot prospects? And you talked about the first thing you brought up was consistency. Let's dive deeper into that and let's talk about what your consistency looks like, what you're doing consistently in your business, what you're doing consistently for your lead gen, and what you're doing consistently to close clients each day.
So I really want to be very truthful with you guys. Cold calls for me are not my favorite, and I kind of shy away from them. We almost need to. Don't even focus on it, because I feel like today that the consumer, the cold leads treat us differently. And let's face it, guys. Right now we're in defense. I feel like we're in defense all the time right now, and that's a little exhausting. So for me, the path of least resistance and the best success is in my sphere of influence. So for me, I go very deep in my business instead of wide. When I talk to newer agents and they say, I don't want to sell to my sphere, I'm like, that's where the money's at, right? They want to sell to strangers. And I'm like, you're gonna burn out in a minute. So very quickly, I've seen the huge value in going deep in my business. I consider every sphere of influence person someone very, very special to me. Um, and then from there, my business has just literally gotten better and better and better. So my secret is my sphere, and I know that that's not for everybody, but for me is my sphere of influence.
Well, and I think it's really important. You touched on a really important note with me coming from the digital world and being your friendly ads boss. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We tell everybody, even before you're running ads, you need to make sure that you have a viable offer, that people are raising their hand saying, yes, I want to speak to you before you put any money behind it. And realistically, it's no different in real estate. Until you can build the rapport and be able to scoop from your spear and scoop from the warm leads and the low hanging fruit, you really don't have any business putting money behind ads,
And if
right?
you do that, which some people are brilliant at it, great. If you're going to do that, then dial that skill in. I just happen to be, my skill is in connecting with people in a face to face way. But some people do brilliant at that, and that's great for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
our next question was in a market flooded with agents, what unique methods do you use to stand out? And you had talked about really just being you, authentically you, and the personality that you are. Share more of that with me. Like, there, anybody can say, oh, I'm just me, but what is it that's going to differentiate you between me going with my brother-in-law who's a real estate agent?
I would tell you that I fight very fiercely for my clients, and I do for me. And this is just, I think I like to stay ahead of the technological curve so I can have that connection with my clients. I do see a lot of real estate jumping right now, even with sphere people, not as much with me, but I've been hearing it out in the field where people go, oh my gosh, people are going to, my sister went to a discount house. So I stay very focused on my connection, my one-on-one connection. But when I go, you guys, this is so unconventional. I don't even have a listing and presentation, and my business is better than ever, which makes no sense to these big fancy books. But those are if I'm going to a listing appointment with somebody I don't know. I haven't had a listing appointment in a couple or a listing book in a long time. So for me, I focus on the technological piece of the next level of where people are, how they're shopping online today, how to capture them online is hopefully my set apart. So it works for me in a way that is people go, well, I ask them, do you know about SEO and SEM? And they often go, what's that? And right there, I can see their light bulb go off, right? Or the
Yeah.
hashtag traction or the depth and breadth of social media, which many people are not comfortable with, don't understand.
Mhm.
When I show them what I'm doing, they're like, wow. So my hope is to, I think that there's an antiquated element to real estate that needs to come into the future. And I try to stay right ahead of that. Try to.
Yeah, so definitely staying up with technological trends.
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely understand that coming from my aspect, being in the advertising industry 20 plus years. I guess that is my job, right? Like it is to know what's happening next, what direction the algorithms are moving in and how quickly they're changing. With that being said, though, you had touched on something that I think I want to dive deeper into. And you touched on there's a lot of movement happening just between agents within brokerages and real estate right now. We didn't even talk about the incredible brokerage that you're with. So I'd love to touch on that right now and talk about who you're with right now and how they're really impacting the real estate community.
Thank you for that. I will tell you guys, when people hear real and, kind of what we're known for, I was not looking, but I needed to be in a room with people that were better than I, right? I wanted to elevate my game, and where I was at was great, but I also knew that I was not going to move past this level. And in my career right now, I'm in go time status. This next 10 years is the most money that I'm going to be able to make. Hopefully more, but you never know. So I switched over to Real. They're a cloud-based brokerage. They are growing exponentially. And I don't want, this is not a commercial. This just suits me and my business model. I very much have had this dream of creating a coaching program for agents, whether you're seasoned or new, that are struggling. I don't care if you join Real, I could care less. But what I find is it's such a disservice. The percentage of failure in our industry is inexcusable to me. How hard it is to pass the test, and then you're kind of flicked out to figure out real estate. It is.
Yeah, I took the school test. I took it 4 times
Mhm.
in a period of 3 years, and I
Yeah.
could never pass the school test. I think I just have test anxiety though, right? Because being in the real estate industry for so long, there's stuff and working in escrow and title and escrow too, right? There's stuff that I know off the top of my head, but when you try to question me about it, I'm going to be like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not meant to be easy, but then when you finally pass it, then you're like, that is a whole different animal to making it in real estate. So the coaching pieces, I really sort of break down I believe getting back to basics is the number one thing you should do. Do not chase the shiny objects, you guys. Do not go with the barrage of phone calls we get to buy zip codes and to buy leads and to do this. It feels like that's the magic bullet, but that to me is a faster pace to burn out in this
But
industry.
wait, say it again and say it louder for the people in back. Do not chase these shiny objects. Like,
Mhm.
I think that goes for not just real estate agents, any business owner, right? With my ad agency, I help verticals across the board, from real estate to small service-based businesses.
Yeah.
And the amount of owners that I see chasing shiny objects, thinking that that's their next big break and their next million or their next step to millions,
Mhm.
is incredible. It's
And
incredible.
I've made you guys, I'll tell you right now, I've made the mistake. I made the mistake this recently. I bought a zip code through realtor.com. So mad at myself, but I did it just for 6 months. But I've made the mistake
Tell us
in
about that experience, because I think our listeners need to hear about that, right? I so often in these Facebook groups that I'm in for real estate, I see all kinds of questions about where's the best lead gen service? Who do I avoid for lead gen service, right? So tell us
Mhm.
about your experience with them.
um, I would tell you that that's my dog.
That's okay. I got a 2-year-old in the background.
Maybe do some of that. I would tell you guys that I got duplicate leads that were bogus. And I did it. I negotiated with realtor.com for only 6 months, one zip code, because I knew I was taking a risk. But I will tell you the leads that I got, I'm I shouldn't say regretful. I'm glad I tried it. It cost me about, I think it was $3,000 maybe. And I thought, well, if I get one deal out of it, fine. If
You're
I
getting
don't,
your
well,
ROI. Sure.
yeah. And I got none. But as yeah, I don't, in my personal humble opinion, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't pay to play. It works for many people, and this is just my corner of the business universe, right?
Well, and
Um,
if you are going to pay to play, get with someone like myself that is an ad specialist that understands the platform, that can build a strategy specifically for you as an agent, not give you the way I see it with the Z and the R.coms of the real
yeah.
estate world, right? Is that that's like taking a glass of water and passing it around your brokerage and let everybody take a drink and then you taking a drink afterwards. That's how sharing leads are, right? It's
Mhm.
yuck. It's yuck.
I'm glad you said that though about hiring someone like you, because that is the way to go. You think that Zillow's in it to make you guys money? I don't think so.
No,
You think the
no.
casinos are there to give you money when you gamble?
Well, and that's exactly what I tell my clients. And with paid ads, especially if you're not coming to the table with at least a minimum of $1,000 ad spend for the month, and you're
Mhm.
looking at it like you're going to the casino.
Yes. And I believe, as I quote from Russell Shaw from one of my masterminds, if you're not going to do it forever, don't do it at all.
Right.
And I
Right.
thought that was brilliant, brilliant advice. So, yes, if you're going to do it,
Absolutely.
you guys hire somebody who knows what they're doing, pointing this way now, um, and do it right. Because many people have an aversion because they go, I don't know what to do, right? So, hire somebody that knows what they're doing.
Wherever me. Um, awesome. I love that, Wendy. And then for our last question, we had said, can you reveal to us a lead generation tactic that flopped and how you bounced back? So really, I think we just talked about that with realtor.com, or I should say
Yeah.
r.com, so we don't say them
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
tell us, I mean, tell us about the comeback from that. Everything is about refine and reflect. So tell us how you handled that.
I went into it with caution. So I was prepared to have a flop in that one. Um, I wouldn't say that anything that I've done is a flop. I'd say everything I've done is a learning experience.
I love it. Absolutely. If you can't learn from it, you don't grow, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I tried door knocking. I'm glad I tried. And I still encourage all of that. Where I sit in my business right now, if anybody's watching this, I encourage you to try all kinds of avenues because you may be a rock star at door knocking. I believe in it. That's why they have it as one of those categories for success, right? So again, find the three things that work for you. And you may be a person that tried realtor.com and it was a dud. It may be r.com. You might be a person that does other things that didn't work for me and it may work greatly for you.
Absolutely. I absolutely love it. So before we tie this all up and end this, first off, great answers, great feedback. I know our audience is going to just love all the feedback that you've given, especially about the r.com, right?
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, though, is before we leave our listeners, is there anything that you want to share, anything that's just weighing on your heart today about the real estate market, about lead generation that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, thank you. That gives me the goosebumps. You guys, this almost makes me tear up, but a lot of agents are struggling. And I have a friend of mine that says, stop saying that. We are in an individual capsule driving around in our cars all day by ourselves. And you're like, I'm the suckiest agent in the world. You're not. A lot of really good agents are having not the most stellar year. So please know that you're not alone. Get yourselves into masterminds. Get yourself into RMS tours. Desert Ridge is next Thursday, guys. Join groups, learn more. If I get one nugget from 1 hour of my day, that's a success. And one more thing, you guys, my friend Ryan and I met today, and we talked a lot about being busy. I want you to look over your own shoulder during the day and go, I'm busy. Are you busy on Instagram? Are you busy farting around
Yes.
having a cup of
Yeah.
ask yourself, are you busying yourself with $20 an hour work or $1,000 an hour work? Be your own conscience, you guys. And we've all done it. I'm going to go down a TikTok hole here
Yeah.
probably in an hour.
Guilty, 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 guilty. Mine's the X Twitter. I can spend hours on that in rabbit holes and it's not good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Wendy, thank you again so much for your time today, for being here, for just opening up and deep diving about what you do with lead gen and how you're handling this market. We really appreciate you being here. That's all we have for you guys today. This is Real Estate Lead Force. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow, and tune in for our next podcast.
Bye, guys.